Shoutouts to Sirloin of Beef, Arbiter1223, and Kanashi Kuso for supporting the game on Patreon. Thank you. Version 1.0 is finally here after all these years. Due to various factors, there were many times where it was difficult to continue working on it. Also, financially at its best, it's been like making less than a third of minimum wage. I had to reduce the scope often to make it more manageable and something that wouldn't take several more years to finish. I had to scrap hundreds of ideas, but I think the end product turned out pretty good. Throughout the development, I made several friends, met some helpful people, and made a pretty nice community. Also learned a lot of stuff that'll help for future projects. Thanks to the patrons and volunteers for making this project a lot more possible. Now on to the summary of the actual changes with this update. Now there's actually a town. NPCs can decide to leave their homes on weekends and public holidays. Hakase helped a lot with modeling buildings. Siberian Ink helped by making street signs and manholes. I also made use of store-bought assets and free assets. Friends can automatically be invited over when heading inside your apartment if they're nearby. To make traveling around more fun, students are wearing Dashirin, a made-up brand of motorized shoes that have a wheel in the heel. Students can now wear hoodies with pants. The hand giving the middle finger decal and the drink mascot decal were made by Siberian Ink. The sheep decal was made by Love's Ice Pick. There are face extras for the upper half of the face. Students can have different colored nails. There are more hair options. There are 6 more thigh-high decal options. I fixed 2 major pathfinding bugs, one being the stutter step glitch where the character would alternate between walking and stopping repeatedly. It could still occur in some rare situations, but it's far less common. The other bug being how NPCs had really delayed targeting and would run to where something was instead of where it currently is. Now there are 10 save slots instead of just 1. There are 8 new inventory items. Siberian Ink made the instant ramen icon. Now you can click on students in the student info to be taken to a new screen of information. The talk and reply prompts were redone to be more clear when your character's able to talk and when they can't. Dialogue subtitles now can't be moved up or down by other subtitles. Students have an animation for walking between several students. I completely redid the breast physics. They don't glitch out, they're better optimized, and they move in a way that makes more sense. Added a new trait called Gloomy. Students with it gain more depression from some things. The random body language trait is now called Unpredictable. It also has a new effect where it randomizes the character's traits, accents, and lingo whenever the day changes. More than 280 lines of narration were added or edited. There are also 3 new kinds of fill-in-the-blanks for narration to add some more variety. There's 2 new home actions, one for reading web novels and one for watching internet videos. Both vary a lot based on your character's interests. There's a science professor, referred to as Professor Fiery. She was voiced by Laia Ayanuro. There's a health professor, referred to as Professor Maruyama. Now there's a headmaster, referred to as Headmaster Kiribayashi. She's voiced by Weediars. You can now purchase items from the vending machine. There's specific compliments for each headwear option. There's also dialogue for if the speaker is wearing the same headwear option. If a student gets scolded too frequently, they'll get suspended for 4 days. Various changes are made to how love and lust work. The main thing is the maximum a student can love someone else is based on their own lovey-dovey stat, and the maximum a student can lust for someone is based on their own perverted stat. There's different dialogue for every topic when off-school property. Students can now wall lean to the side. There's a confidence requirement. Professor Kusama has voice acting. She was voiced by Siberian Ink. Professor Tanaka has voice acting. She was voiced by Match. Professor Inuzuka has voice acting. She was voiced by Zumsteer. Professor Hiraoka has voice acting. He was voice acted by Arbiter 1223. Professor Mike has voice acting. And Nurse Kadadaicho has voice acting. She was voiced by Lena. The Spanish option was scrapped for a variety of reasons. The 2 translators are now under special thanks in the credits. There's a button to randomize the player character's name. Students now get trouble if seen by staff when trespassing on school property on a public holiday at night or on the weekend. Notifications appear at the top of the screen now, so they don't get in the way of narration. The player's lingo can now change to match a friend's. Before, this could only happen with students that weren't the player character. Students' opinions on interests can very slowly change over time based on the type of close friends they have. This actually makes use of why interests are measured from -100 to 100 instead of just having 5 possible values. Students' stomachs can randomly gurgle when hungry. Many bugs were fixed and many balance changes were made. As usual, the update log has more information about the changes. I'll start working on the next game. It's a very different game, different genre, setting, style. A lot of it has already been planned out. Hopefully working on a brand new game doesn't cause much of a drop in patrons. I'll continue making Patreon posts, at least monthly, about the progress, and I'll have videos on it once it's somewhat presentable, which will likely take at least a few months. Thanks for watching, and hope you look forward to my mysterious next game.